Jordan!
And
Who was having some renovations in their bathroom done, had hired a painter decorator, went to offer them a cup of tea, but accidentally walked in on them mid-wee.
John Cleese?
No! Two guys! What? Hello, and welcome to episode 94 of Two Guys What's Up, the weekly comedy podcast where from now on I'll be doing all my own decorating, whilst maybe only enlisting the help of someone that I love to watch wee, and that's this guy, Jordan. Jordan, how are you? I'm to myself, let me watch!
I kind of don't know what to say.
Well, if you're lost for words, mate, let me take the reins, because that is a question that has kept me up at night for years. Right? Let me elaborate. But if someone is working in your house and they are doing work in your bathroom, would they just wee? Because obviously, if they're in the kitchen, they'll be like, oh, I'm just going to go to the toilet. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, fair enough.
I'm just going to piss in your sink.
That's where I normally go.
It is when you're 8 cocktails deep.
And you can't work stairs anymore. But, if they're working in your bathroom and they need to go and wee, do they need to come and tell you first? Like, that's a bit awkward. Like, what do they do?
I guess not. No, I guess you'd just shut and lock the door, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but then you'd be like, wow, there's a stranger in my house and they've locked themselves in my bathroom. And that's when I get my axe out, start beating down the door like, what are you doing in there?
Like some sort of self-hostage situation.
Yeah. Let yourself out. Put the paintbrush down.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If I was a handyman, and I'm certainly fucking not, but if I was, and I was in someone's bathroom doing work anyway, and I needed a piss, I'd do it. I'd shut the door and have a little tinkle. Unless there was a problem with the toilet and actually they needed a plumber.
Yeah, well, yeah, so that's a very good point.
Then I'd have a shit.
In the bath. And a shower to clean myself off.
And then I'd, of course, inform them.
Of course, yeah.
So, just to put a lid quite neatly on that, I don't think there's any problem at all.
To be honest, I've never thought about the fact that they could simply just lock the door.
Yes, that is a thing. That is a feature.
I'm glad I asked, because otherwise I would have never gotten any sleep, because that would have just been rattling around my head for f***ing years. So I'm glad I brought it up. Right, so now that's neatly done and dusted. How are you doing?
I'm all right, I think.
Can I watch your wee?
Certainly.
I thought you'd never ask.
Are you ready?
Mouth open.
Oh, it's hit the ceiling again. Oh, no.
Oh, it's like a dirty shower.
Oh, it's a little fountain going on, isn't it? I appreciate the little dance underneath there.
It's my rain dance, mate.
So speaking of sort of, I guess, maybe renovations and stuff like that, my wife and I have had the bright idea this weekend of changing around our living room and our kitchen.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty big undertaking. And when you think something's a good idea until you get started.
Yep, oh yeah.
That's me right now.
You're talking about marriage, yeah?
Obviously.
As I was walking down the aisle, mate, I was like, this is a bad idea. Too late to back out now.
As soon as I put that engagement ring on, I thought,
I shouldn't have done that. Balls.
No, I am joking, of course. I love marriage and I love my wife.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So we had the bright idea after some drinks. We're not massively happy.
Always a bad idea if it starts with after some drinks.
Well, it was more during some drinks, to be fair.
Sleep on it. Sleep on it, mate. I can't. We started while we were half pissed.
So we've completely changed in our mind how the living room is, because we weren't massively happy with it. So anyway, long story short, next week I've got an Argos delivery on Monday, I've got an IKEA delivery on Tuesday, and I've got a Curry's delivery on Thursday.
Is that to get your energy back up, yeah? After all that heavy lifting I could do with a curry.
Yeah. I'm excited because I get to have a massive American fridge freezer with a water and ice dispenser, which I've wanted for a long time.
Nice.
I think you mean ice.
I did, sorry. Yeah, my mistake. Where is my mind?
But also, it's cubes and a crusher. Love it. So that means slushies all round for cocktails.
Hell yeah. I'm moving in, mate.
But we've spent about $2,000, so there's that as well.
Yeah, well, what use is money if you can't turn it into the things that you want to have in your life?
That is true. And actually, Ian, that reminds me of today's segment a little bit.
Oh, God. What is it?
No, well, this is an idea that you gave me, actually.
Oh, God, it's more hamsters, isn't it? I can't take any more.
Hamster Deaths Part 2 through 6.
Ah, no! Buckle up, people.
This is about extended common sayings.
Ah. Oh, yes, I remember.
And there is something in there about money later on, and it's just reminded me of it. But that is what I will be going into today.
Nice.
Because I figured you're probably going to ask at some point.
I was getting there.
So that's what I will be doing. But I should probably ask how you are.
Yeah, great.
Good.
That's it, mate. That's the end of it.
Well, I was expecting more, but there you go.
Well, what would you like to know specifically?
What do you have for breakfast today?
I had some, what they're called, blah, blah, blah.
Don't know them.
Them things, they're crispy honey nut things.
Oh, like a cereal bar kind of thing?
No, with the milk and the honey nut crunchy buggers. What are they called? Kellogg's Crunchy Nut Cornflakes.
Nice, there we go. That took a while.
It did. Clearly I haven't woken up.
Well, I'm glad you're all right.
Anything else you want to ask?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, I'm not prompting you towards anything. I'm just, you asked how I was. I said I'm great, and you're like, that's not good enough. Tell me more.
How's the wife and kids?
The wife is dishevelled through work.
Brilliant.
Kids didn't want to go to school this morning for no particular reason. Just wanted to stay home, watch YouTube. I was like, nah, mate, you got to go to school.
I mean, fair enough, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's generally what I do with my time. So. And the little one drew on my wall this morning, so that's cool.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. Well, I mean, lucky enough, you're not actually selling your house right now, are you?
That's very true, yeah. For anyone who is interested, keeping up with the two guys' what's up inner workings of their lives, the house that I was going to hopefully be buying has been purchased. The one thing happened that generally never happens, and that is someone came in with a big fat load of fucking cash and just went, yeah, I want that house, please, and bought it outright. So now my wife and I are stuck in the house that we were so happy and ready, in our minds, we'd left. We were out of here. We were gone.
Yeah.
But now we have to essentially move back in and come to terms with the fact that we hate our lives and each other and everything involved.
Well, there is one plus side, Ian.
Oh, what's that, Jordan? I'm not going to end up in one of your sheds.
No, not at all. No, far from it.
Oh.
It means that now you can all write on your walls.
Oh, thank God.
I know you've been holding back.
I have written my suicide note on one of the walls downstairs, so I'm glad I got confirmation that that's okay.
Yes, it's totally fine. Hey, you can even do the outside walls as well.
Oh, yeah. Paint them a nice dishevelled black like my heart and soul. My favourite colour.
Anyway, to crack on with things, Ian, you know what I'm doing today. What have you got for us?
Well, Jordan, funnily enough, I should bring up darkness because I would like you to maybe grab your ankles, wrap them behind your head so that you can stay nice and clean today as you actively shit yourself.
Not again.
Because, Jordan, we are going to be talking about pure darkness as we look at the shadowy world of one of the creepiest paranormal phenomena out there, shadow people.
Ooh, spooky. But also, I normally piss myself.
Oh, of course, because, it's one big steady flow.
Except when I laugh, it kind of like, it jutters a bit, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, which is great because it gives me a chance to catch my breath.
From all the coughing and the spluttering.
Yeah, it's great. Swallow what's in my mouth and take a breath.
God.
Ready for myself for the next lashing. Right, I listen to myself, right, and I look off into the distance after I say some things, and I'm like, what the fuck, right? And then you say something, and I just go right back in, 100%, and I'm just like, why? Why don't I learn my lesson? Just stop.
It's like a toxic relationship.
Oh, God. Right, I'll see you in couples therapy tonight.
Nice, yeah. I'll see you there. It's 6 o'clock tonight, don't forget.
Oh, what? I'm at work at 6. Told you to move it to 4.
It's worth it, though.
Well, because I won't be there. You're like, thank God I'd have to spend time with him. Making yourself look like the better person in the relationship because you're like, he didn't even turn up.
Yeah.
I'm here willing to work on the relationship. Where is he?
He even got a shift just so he didn't have to come here.
Prioritising money over our friendship. What a bastard. Anyway, Jordan, with that bombshell, shall we just jump into things?
Yes, please.
Let's do it! Shadow people, as the name suggests, are exactly what you would expect. Shadowy, most often humanoid figures who like to lurk in the dark corners of your bedroom or simply chill near your bed as you lay there awake, terrified and paralysed. The scary part is, if that's not scary enough, is they're silent, stealthy and featureless. No faces, no clothes, just a spooky silhouette of darkness hiding in the darkness. Our often spoke of late-night radio show host pal of Coast to Coast AM Art Bell helped popularise shadow people, where in October of 2021... No, that's completely wrong.
You know you're making it up.
I am.
It's all bollocks.
I've shut my eyes. I'm just making it all up. Where in October of 2001, after author Heidi Hollis published her first book on shadow people, she frequented Coast to Coast and described shadow people as dark, human-like silhouettes seen flickering in the peripheral vision, and they are said to try and jump on people's chests and choke them. But she believed them to be hostile aliens that can simply be repelled through invoking the name of Jesus.
Okay, so these are religious aliens.
Apparently, well, see, this is a thing that comes up in quite a lot of paranormal stories. So people will start to say the Lord's Prayer, and whether people in these stories are religious or not, generally, if you see something evil, at least the people in the stories I've heard, the first thing they go to, the opposite thing, is God, and religion. So the first thing they think, the only thing they know is, oh shit, Jesus, help me, fucking God, get him out of here. And that will generally help, even if the person isn't religious.
Do you think it's placebo and that actually these things don't exist and the thought of that just helps?
I'll tell you what, mate, we'll put a pin in that. All right, we'll come back to conclusions at the end. But just before we do, you get that crazy notion of this not being real out of your head, because I'm going to change your mind, right? So you may as well just dispel that thought now. Get it out. Just open a little fucking door in your ear or something and boot it out the side, okay? Because that's bullshit.
What the story is? Yeah.
Oh, God. No, Jordan. Stop doubling down. It's only going to be harder to expel it if you're thinking it's bullshit, mate. What I mean is the notion is rubbish. I've lost what I'm talking about now.
Yeah, that's fine. I've put 2 pins in it ananyway. I'm coming back to that thought.
Nice. Okay, right. Well, just misplace them, and then we won't have to bother about it again.
Okay.
So, whatever the intention of these fuckers are, discussion of them often comes to the conclusion that shadow people are malevolent, i.e. evil fuckers. But the concept of these shadowy figures isn't a new thing. We're talking centuries of nightmares spanning multiple generations and cultures. Ancient Egyptians thought shadowy figures were part of the human soul, specifically named the Ka, I think that is pronounced, it's just Ka, and they were thought to be the person's double of their life force. In Islamic culture, there's a concept of something called the jinn, supernatural beings said to have been created at the same time as humans, but made of a smokeless fire that can take any form, including, you guessed it, shadowy figures. These mischievous entities can either be good or bad, but more often than not, as they are said to hate humans, they're generally just unpredictable and terrifying.
What is it about humans they hate?
I think, if I remember correctly, it's that they were, favoured by God, something along those lines.
What, the jinns were?
No, humans were. So jinns were like, nah, f*** you, bastards.
Oh, so they're just jealous?
I guess.
I mean, it's fair, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I'm not a religious scholar, so I couldn't tell you. But
and that's my first thought.
If you want to try and put your finger on thousands of years of religious notions, and just be like, oh, they're just jealous, mate, then that's fine. You do that.
And I did.
I'm not here to try and sway your mind any which way on anything other than the existence of shadow people. So whatever you do outside of that, fine by me.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Do what you want.
I will hold you accountable to that.
Oh, God. No, I was trying to give you the accountability and just be like, hey, man, your choice, do what you want. But if you're just going to blame me...
No, I'll say Iain told me.
Oh, fucking hell, mate. There's no way I'm getting out. This is a bastard. I'll set all my shadowy friends on you.
They're just jealous.
Is that your argument for everything?
Just jealous of not having to build IKEA furniture and move heavy things.
You're just jealous that you're not getting a new ice fridge.
Can't wait.
Is it going to be one of those things that you get and you use once and you go, isn't that cool? And then you never touch it again?
I mean, I hope so. It's a fridge freezer. It does have a transparent door, though, that if you tap it, you can see what's inside without having to open the fridge. So, when I'm, doing that thing where I'm not really hungry, I'm just bored. Mm-hmm. Now I don't even have to open the fridge.
Nice.
I can just, tap my nose against the door, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, there's that lovely treat in there.
You are going to be so terrified one day, right, when you come downstairs, and you're like, oh, I'm thirsty. See what's to drink in the fridge. Give it a little tap.
No, there's a head.
Oh, you just hear a knock back.
Oh, that's spooky.
Yeah, you were like, oh, God, haunted fridge.
Oh.
Ghostbusters was right.
Well, it's all right. I've got a year warranty. I'll send the bugger back.
Good plan.
Thanks.
So, moving on.
So, Iain, what are these things?
Well, Jordan, in later years, people have different theories on what they could be, depending on whether they lean towards a scientific, paranormal, or I've been watching too much ghost hunting TV mindset. But there are some strong contenders. They could be interdimensional beings. They're not ghosts or aliens, but rather entities popping in and out of our plane of existence, just dropping in to have a little look around, maybe even here to observe, study, or judge us.
And be jealous.
And just downright jealous. See, that only, I guess, falls into the mindset of if you think they are jinns, because, the jinns were jealous, but, the interdimensional beings weren't.
How do you know?
Because I'm the one that's got the script.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Another thought is they could be demons or dark spirits. So if you perhaps lean into the religious camp, shadow people are often seen as basically demons in shadow form. They aren't here for tea and biscuits and a little bit of a natter. They want to freak you out or worse. And as we've heard before, in some reports, fucking went Yorkshire then. In some reports, they might even try to paralyse you in bed or even suffocate you.
Wow.
Do they mean like with a pillow over the face? Go to sleep, go to sleep.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I think they're just jealous.
Of what?
They're just jealous that we can have tea and biscuits.
Damn you and your ultra comfy memory foam bed. I sleep on rocks.
You know, don't be hating us just because of what you've become.
Pretty sure they were born this way. They are the epitome of Maybelline.
Are they a cosmetic brand?
Yeah, the advert is maybe she's born with it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I only know. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah, but the first part of that is quite relevant due to your segment. You know, the extended version of that is maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline.
Wow, okay, I didn't know that.
So, onto a more specific type of shadow person. The Hat Man. This guy is famous in shadowy circles. Imagine a shadow person, like we've been talking about, but this one wears a trench coat and a wide-brimmed hat or fedora. Some think he's a higher-ranking shadow person, while others believe he's connected to alien encounters. And speaking of which, some paranormal Some paranormal peeps believe that shadow people are actually extraterrestrials in disguise. The idea is that these figures might be advanced beings or projections sent to spy on humans.
Wow. Right. So your description there with the trench coat and the fedora, that is totally Mr. X from Resident Evil. Not that you'll know, because you don't play games.
That's true. Yeah, the only game I like to play is Call of Duty Nazi Zombies.
Do you actually?
Yeah, I bought an Xbox specifically to play that game.
You joking?
Yeah, mate. Wasn't it hilarious? Let's all share in a laugh.
When was this? Have you always had this?
Yeah.
No way. How come we've never played?
Because one of my controllers broke.
I could have got another one.
Well, I used to play it with a friend of mine.
Oh, did you? Yeah, you did,
let
didn't you?
Let me finish.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Good,
you only
calm
do that with
yourself
friends,
down.
don't you?
Chill your little boots there, pal. Right, there's a story to come from this. I used to play it with a friend when I was like 15 years old or something stupid like that. I don't know if the game's been out that long, but I was young is what I'm trying to say. We used to stay up all night shooting zombies, and then I moved into my own flat and I got an Xbox to play it so we could play it online, and then I think we did it for about 6 months and then just never played it again. Then when I came back to it, literally the last year, I mean I'm 36 now, so it's been some time, one of my controllers broke and my son has taken over the Xbox with Minecraft, okay?
It's alright, I'll kick him out.
I didn't know you liked this game. Otherwise, I'd have been like, yeah, come on over, pal. Let's play some zombies together.
Why would you think I don't like that? Blasting zombies is my favourite pastime.
Oh, is it? Is that your new weird nickname for masturbating?
I've never heard it called that, but that's what I'll do for now.
Your wife's like, what are you doing in there?
Sorry, darling, I'm just off to go blast some zombies.
I'm just blasting zombies. I'm in 2 minutes.
Actually, no, I'm finished.
She's like, oh, you're such a good husband. Always getting rid of those pesky zombies for us.
Yeah. I've just sent you a picture of Mr. X. Don't you think that is the description?
It looks a bit more muscly than I imagined.
I don't know. I mean, maybe they've worked out a bit.
Possibly. After all these people, like, on these podcasts, just, like, ripping into him, like, oh, this fucking scrawny little fedora-wearing freaky, shadowy bitch, just stood in the corner of your room. And he's like, right, that's it. We're going back to my room and I'm going to beef up. I'll show him.
I mean, good on him, really.
Yeah. I mean, he's done better than I could. I'm a fat dickhead.
But what you've just said there, if you look at him, it's kind of hurt him.
He does look sad.
He's like, I looked up to you.
What have I ever done to deserve this? I was your friend. We're going to have to put these pictures up somewhere, by the way, so people can see these now.
That is very true. We'll do it on Instagram and everyone can flick through them.
Perfect. So, Jordan, I've been known to be described as a fair guy, so I think it's only right that I give the skeptic side on what these shadowy buggers are. So here we have the proposed psychological explanation. A lot of skeptics argue that shadow people are just a trick of the mind, a side effect of sleep paralysis, which is when your body's awake and your brain doesn't quite catch up, leaving you unable to move during these moments of going on about hallucinating.
I think that's true.
What? I'm sorry. I'm surprised you got anything from that. You know, I was so bored reading it that I could barely even make myself finish the fucking paragraph.
I mean, the truth can be quite exhausting.
You're just jealous.
It's not me.
That's going to be a right nice little comeback from now on, innit? Darling, why won't you touch me anymore? You're just jealous. I am. But aside from that bollocks, whatever they are, shadow people don't tend to give a warning. They seem to love giving a good old scare and have been said to thrive in places with negative energy or emotional turmoil. So if you live in a place that, for whatever reason, has bad or negative vibes, you might just want to keep your eye out just in case. And second to that, if you're dealing with any serious stress, anxiety, or even grief, don't be surprised if you start catching sight of these shadowy shits out the corner of your eye.
Okay, as long as it's not head on, that's fine.
Yeah, just like barreling down your hallway towards you, go, ah!
See, that would be awful.
That would be fucking awful, wouldn't it?
I'd rather see Mr. X.
Would you?
At least he's got a look of sadness about him.
He just wants a hug.
He does. He's just jealous.
Not anymore, mate. I'm jealous of him. He's right fucking beefcake.
Beefcake.
I'd let him deadlift me.
Yeah, I bet.
I'd let him cover me in piss.
God. He's got quite a spray.
And a reach, mate.
It's like those garden hose attachments with the different powers.
Different attachments, so you can have like the one that goes back and forward, one that goes. Shh. Just a straight up sprinkler.
I got tears.
Do you think his piss is black as well?
God. Oh, God. What if he forgets to move the little lever, you know, that allows it out or stops it, and he just backs up?
That's coming out of his nose. How would it get there? I know nothing about anatomy.
Out of his ears.
That's when he really starts to look sad.
His eyes start rolling. It looks like a lottery machine.
Right, John, we're laughing, but here is where it gets real.
Okay.
Because over the years, there have been countless stories of shadow people encounters, and I'd like to tell you just a couple to help ruin your sleep tonight.
No, please don't.
Too late. One of the creepiest shadow people stories comes from a lady named Heidi Wyrick. She was a young girl from Ellisee, Georgia, where in the late 80s and early 90s, Heidi's encounters with shadow figures and other strange phenomena were witnessed by her family, neighbours, and paranormal investigators. It started in 1989. The Wyrick family, Heidi, her parents, and their babysitter, also called Jordan, all moved into a quiet house in rural Georgia. Heidi was only 3 when she first started seeing things. At first, she mentioned a friendly old man called Mr. Gordy. Her parents brushed this off as an imaginary friend, but then Heidi started talking about another figure, a tall, faceless man dressed in a dark suit who stood in the corners of her room or by her bed, silently watching.
Ugh.
This was her first encounter with a shadow person. Unlike Mr. Gordy, this figure terrified Heidi. She'd run to her parents in tears, begging them to make the shadow man go away. Her parents initially thought it was just nightmares, but things soon escalated. Heidi claimed the shadow man scratched her, and she indeed had the marks on her arm to prove it. The family then learnt from a neighbour that their property had a dark history. It turned out Mr. Gordy was a real person who died years before, and the land had had its share of deaths, including a murder-suicide. The Shadow Man's appearances grew more aggressive, with doors slamming, objects moving, and cold spots appearing. Heidi's father even saw the figure himself in the hallway one night. The Shadow Figure's most frightening attack came when Heidi, now 9, was pinned to her bed and scratched. Investigators were called, as they always are, because who else are you going to call? And they recorded some strange activity. They'd hear faint voices and see the dark figure. The dad, the utter fucking jokester, said that the Shadow Man should start paying rent.
Okay.
Is that not funny, no?
Sorry.
I expected a bit more of a laugh from that. Oh, if he's going to live here, he should probably start paying his way.
Fucking funny as shit.
Get out, James. This is a serious investigation.
Say it again.
But as Heidi got older, the Shadow Man appeared less frequently, but she never really felt like she had quite rid herself of him entirely. Story number 1, what do you think about that, Jordan?
Yeah, kind of weird, but I mean, there's not much, is there, in way of evidence?
Yeah, she had scratches, mate.
She could do that herself.
All right, well, if you're not convinced, I've got another one for you, all right? Oh, God.
No, call me Jordan.
Story number 2. A 24-year-old woman named Emily Hernandez had a terrifying encounter with the Hat Man. Emily was living alone in a small apartment in San Antonio, Texas. Her life was relatively normal. She had a stable job, a good circle of friends, and was generally happy until one night in November of 2003. It was a typical evening. Emily had come home from work, made dinner, relaxed on the couch watching some TV before heading to bed around 11 p.m. Nothing out of the ordinary had happened that day, but for some reason, she felt unusually on edge as she lay down to sleep. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, but she couldn't pinpoint it. She was exhausted, so she thought, F it can wait till tomorrow. And eventually, she drifted off to sleep. But sometime in the middle of the night, Emily awoke suddenly. She didn't know what had woken her, but there was a heavy, oppressive feeling in the room. Her body felt frozen, as though something was holding her down, and she was immediately gripped by an overwhelming sense of dread. The room was dark, except for the faint glow of streetlight filtering in through the window, and something felt off. And that is when she saw him. Standing at the foot of the bed was a tall, dark figure. He was completely solid, not a shadow, but a man cloaked in darkness. His most distinctive feature was his wide-brimmed hat atop his head, which cast a deeper shadow over his face, which, no, Jordan, was not sad.
But it was Mr. X, wasn't it?
Probably. We'll just call him that anyway. Why not? I don't know his name, so never bothered to tell me.
Mr. X sounds more mysterious than Hat Man.
I don't know. Well, he's apparently a man that wears a hat, so...
Yeah, but where's the mystery in that?
Where's the X come in?
I don't know. He just wants a big old kiss.
Why not Mr. P? Oh, God. That was completely by accident. I literally just chose a letter at fucking random, and it just turned out to be the wrong one.
Mr. Sprinkle Toes.
I prefer that name. Less scary as well. But the figure Emily saw wore a long trench coat, and though Emily couldn't make out any of the details on his face, she could feel his eyes on her. It was like something was studying her, waiting for something. Emily tried to scream, but couldn't. Her body was paralysed. The figure didn't move, didn't say a word. It just stood there, looming over her, radiating an overwhelming sense of malice. For what felt like hours, the Hat Man remained at the foot of her bed, simply watching. Emily described the experience as feeling like he was draining her somehow, like he was feeding on her fear.
Ugh.
She couldn't explain why, but she was certain that if she didn't do something, he would take something important from her. Finally, with every ounce of willpower, Emily broke the spell and forced her body to move. She was able to turn her head just ever so slightly, breaking whatever paralysis had gripped her, and in that instant, the Hat Man just slowly stepped backwards, retreating into the shadows. He didn't vanish abruptly, rather, he melted into the darkness of the room until he was just gone. Once the figure disappeared, Emily bolted upright in bed, gasping for air, her body was drenched in sweat, and her heart was racing. She immediately turned on every light in the room and tried to calm herself down. Now, Jordan, what do you think of that?
I mean, she's got such vivid dreams.
All right.
I mean, some would call it a nightmare.
And what is a nightmare when you're awake, Jordan? What's that called? Reality. That's what that's called, mate.
That's your life. Day in and day out.
Filled with shadowy forms, giving me visions of horrors. Oh, no, wait, that's just my life again. Well, Jordan, I can tell that you're totally a believer and you're on my side. So what on earth do you do if you see one? Good question, Jordan. Don't worry, I got you covered. It's thought that if you encounter a shadow person, the best thing you can do is not freak out. Easier said than done when you have a sentient shadow glaring at you, I know, but still, apparently staying calm and asserting your own energy can actually drive the fuckers away. And if you're religious, as we heard above, invoking a prayer or calling on some higher power is thought to do the trick. Others suggest lighting up your space, since shadow peoples are, well, shadows. They apparently aren't big fans of light, so if you see one, flipping on the lamp could make them vanish. That, or it might just give them a better view of where you are. So in short, shadow people are either interdimensional creepers, aliens, sleep paralysis demons, or just the product of an overactive imagination or other. But whatever they are, actually isn't important, Jordan, because I was going to say I want to know what you think, but now I don't.
And you're right.
Fantastic.
You don't want to know.
Well, now I kind of do. You've changed my mind.
I don't know. I mean, it's possible, plausible, but there's not really multiple witnesses, and it could be put down to either a very vivid dream, you know, because we often have dreams and we wake up thinking, wait, did that happen?
No, I've never had.
Well, that's just because you're not normal. And then...
Fair point.
Or it could be, I mean, it sounds horrible, but, you know, if someone needs a cry for help and they're scratching themselves, they could put it down to something like that.
Okay, right, I see that.
So that's my thoughts, Iain. Nothing paranormal, and goodbye.
Okay, well, before we move on then, I have my own tale of a time that I encountered a shadow person.
Okay.
I can't quite remember if I've told this on the podcast before, so if I have, my apologies, but you're going to have to hear it again. I was in my old house, in my parents', where they lived in the cemetery, and my dad said,
Iain, go upstairs and get me a fucking extension cable, you wee shitbag.
Right, so I was like, yeah, you got it, Pops. So I ran upstairs, and because I am, as you said, abnormal, I don't turn lights on when I run around. So, I like to leave lights off because I hate artificial light. So I ran upstairs in the darkness. I rounded the banister at the top to go back to my bedroom to get said extension cable. And as I rounded the corner, I looked up. I could have swore like there was a darker than dark figure in front of me, so much to the fact that I braced myself for impact and I kind of curled up in myself.
Oh, God.
I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I put my arms over my chest and I was like, oh, shit, like that kind of thing. And then I kind of stopped and fell backwards.
Wow.
And I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, I was absolutely adamant that there was someone, like a shadow or something, just stood at the top of my stairs, essentially. And I even braced myself to run into this thing.
That's awful.
Yep.
I believe that more than these stories.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, my story. Creepy as fuck. Ghosts and shadow people are real. The end. Jordan, tell me some extended sayings.
Okay, Iain. Well, thank you very much for the stories nonetheless.
Not a problem. Sprinkler face.
So, extended common sayings.
Right.
We all know that sayings are a part of everyday life and they're woven into our conversations and they're often taken for granted as common knowledge. We frequently use phrases like, the early bird catches the worm, or don't cry over spilt milk. And most of these times the expressions are familiar to most people, but some sayings have in fact changed, and as a result they've lost their original meaning over time. So what we use today may have been so overly simplified that actually they've ended up changing the whole meaning entirely.
Interesting.
Yes. So hilarious and informative. Two guys, what's up? So we'll begin with a couple of examples that don't really change the meaning, but maybe you haven't heard the full thing.
Okay.
The phrase, the proof is in the pudding. Mm-hmm. Could you elaborate how you could describe what that means?
To be honest, I've never even really used that saying myself, so I guess it means that if you say something is good or tastes good, something like that, then the proof of that is going to be in doing the thing or eating the thing.
Yeah. Exactly. The original complete phrase is the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
Okay.
Which kind of turns it into something a bit more literal, I suppose, than, just the proof is in the pudding. But it just means that you can't judge something until you've tried it or you've experienced it fully.
Right.
And the shortened version, I suppose, maybe less clear? I don't know.
Yeah, proof's in the pudding. Yeah, I've never really understood that, to be honest. Or, like I said, I've never used it, so I couldn't really tell you.
I mean, there was a phase where it was every second thing you said.
Yeah.
Got well annoying.
Yeah, I just never understood really where to put it, so I just put it everywhere.
Especially when I was like, hi, Iain.
Wow, mate, proof's in the
pudding. The proof's
pudding.
in the pudding.
How are you doing today, mate? Proof's in pudding. Yeah, I just figured hopefully I'll get it right once at least.
Maybe now you'll do better.
Fingers crossed.
Another one is once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah, so if you do something and you kind of jump in head first, maybe without knowing what you're doing, and then, you end up hurting yourself, the next time you do it, you'll take a bit more caution.
That's exactly it.
Oh, yeah.
And also, it always reminds me of Christmas because it's in that song, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, yeah. Wham.
Last Christmas.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Do you ever do that thing? I can't remember what they call it, but you have to try and go as long as you can in December without hearing that song. So Last Christmas by Wham.
Oh, right.
They call it like Whammus or like being whammed or something. I can't remember.
See, it's difficult for me because I gig.
And it's difficult for me because I fucking love that song. The bass line in that song is so fucking awesome.
I've never really thought about it.
Oh, man, every year I listen to it, I'm like, fuck yeah, rocking out, like walking down the street, grabbing people by the collar, and like, yeah, this fucking bass line. Naturally, I'm shouting because I've got my headphones on.
Unfortunately, they've finally heard it, and they're like, oh, no.
Like, I haven't heard the bass line, mate. For what song? And it's like, no, it's Christmas. Like, fuck. I lost.
I'm seriously going to have to listen to that, but not until December.
Of course, yeah.
So, Iain, you're right that is the meaning of once bitten, twice shy. And again, it hasn't really lost much meaning as some of the other sayings we'll get to, but it is a shortened version from an old proverb, which I wasn't aware of.
Which is?
Once bitten by a snake, twice shy of a rope.
Oh.
Yeah. So the extended version kind of paints, I think, a bit of a clearer picture. So after, as you say, a negative experience, like being bitten by a snake, a person becomes overly cautious, even when faced with something harmless like a rope.
Okay, so what this proverb is saying is that people are stupid and can't identify the difference between a living creature and a piece of rope.
Precisely.
Nice.
No, it's not that at all. So it's the idea that once you've been hurt by something, you tend to be more wary, don't you, I guess,
Yeah.
over potentially a similar situation, even if the new situation isn't necessarily dangerous or harmful.
Yeah, so things that look like it might also give you a little bit of anxiety about it.
Exactly. But I think the shortened one kind of loses the sort of exaggeration of that a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Another one is silence is golden.
Mm-hmm. Meaning that, it's nice to have silence. Am I wrong?
Okay, fair enough. I suppose. Well, let me give you more of the full proverb, which is, speech is silver, but silence is golden. So it's implying that while speaking has value, there's even greater value in saying nothing at all sometimes.
Right, okay, so if I see, say, you walking down the street and I feel the need to come up to you and say, oh, you bastard, you're just jealous. Rather than do that, I could just say nothing at all, and that would be better.
Sorry, I was just testing out that proverb.
How did it go? Was it golden? I feel 9 carat f***ing heavier, mate.
Another one is birds of a feather flock together.
Mm-hmm. I guess it just means that people of similar interests will find themselves in a group.
Yeah, that's basically it. But the extended phrase, however, it's a bit more judgmental, really.
Oh, God.
Birds of a feather flock together, and so will pigs and swine.
That's not very nice.
Exactly. So it's basically showing how people of similar character do, of course, stick together.
Yeah.
But it's just a little bit judgmental on certain types of groups of people.
Yeah, that's horrible, isn't it? I mean, you literally could have left it at birds of a feather because, that just puts everyone under the same umbrella, but still says that people of similar ilk flock together to stay together in certain groups. You don't have to be like, but some of them are dickheads.
But the knobheads, they don't intermingle.
Well, so will wankers and bastards.
Yeah. So, yeah, fair enough why that bit got dropped.
Yeah, I can see that one.
So, all well and good so far. Generally near enough the same meaning for each of those. But there are shortened versions of some sayings that have been changed over time and completely changed the meaning of what was originally being said.
Oh, God, this is what I'm excited for. This is where I find out I've accidentally been calling my boss like an asshole or something. Well, I'm just off on my breaks. You're going to miss me. Absence makes the hearts grow fonder. What that actually means is I hate you.
Yeah. The saying, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, so things take time.
Yeah, okay. I always felt that kind of implies that because you can't get something done quick, to kind of not worry and sort of relax a little bit.
Yeah.
That's kind of the impression I got of that.
Yeah, the kind of impression I've always got. I mean, I'm not sure if this is the same thing or not. Well, I guess I'll find out once I've said it. But, say you want to embark on a new adventure. Say you want to do your kitchen in your living room. And you're like, right, let's f***ing jump on the internet now and get everything ordered. It's like, whoa, calm down, pal. Don't need to be done right now. Because, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly. Sit back and relax, take your time.
Yes.
Well, the extended version is actually Rome wasn't built in a day, but they were laying bricks every hour.
Oh, okay. So while you can't get it done right now, you can always sort of be working toward it.
Exactly. So kind of emphasises that the big accomplishments do, in fact, take time. Consistent effort is the key.
Right.
And I feel like it's kind of lost that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of means now. It's like, well, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's like, you know what? Good point. I'll take a break.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, won't bother then.
Yeah. You need to actually be doing it, in the meantime.
Yeah. I just think it's quite good.
Very good.
What about head over heels?
I've never really got that one. I guess it just means, like, you're falling on your ass, or you're falling on your back, your heels are above your head.
Yeah, right. So this is an example where the original phrase was actually heels over head, which makes sense.
Why?
So, literally describing someone flipping upside down.
Okay.
So, like, you know, if your whole world's turned upside down kind of thing.
Right.
You know, you might be heels over head.
That does make more sense.
But actually, head over heels
It's just normal.
sort of is just what you are.
Yeah.
When someone's like, oh, the head over heels in love, like, well, okay. I'd be more impressed if they were heels over head.
Yeah. Like, Jim, what happened to you last night after you left, mate? God, you were well drunk, mate. I'm surprised you got home. Were you all right? Oh, mate, I was head over heels. Oh, I got home safe then, did you?
Yeah, exactly.
I did, yeah.
Exactly. It seems stupid. So I'm not sure really why our version now changed quite literally to be the opposite.
Yeah, to be fair, I've never really thought about that before.
It's weird, isn't it?
We're idiots.
Another one, and I feel like we've discussed this before. Tell me if we have, but regardless, blood is thicker than water.
We have spoke about this.
Yeah. Now, do you recall maybe even what the full version was?
It was something to do with blood being, like, family, yeah, that's cool, but, you know, religion, that's better. Was it something like that?
What is the full phrase?
You know, I'm paraphrasing. I'll admit.
Blood is thicker than water, as we hear that saying now.
Yeah.
I guess it...
I remember. It's something to do with, blood is thicker than water, so, your family's cool, but they can be dickheads, but your friends, you can choose them, so they're probably better. Was it that one?
Yeah, it was kind of.
Okay, right, I'll stop guessing. You just tell me, all right?
The full phrase is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb.
Right.
So when we hear blood is thicker than water, we think, you know, family ties are more bonding than friendships.
Yeah.
But actually, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So it's the very opposite of that.
So my first thought was right, was it?
Yeah, you were sort of on the right lines with that.
F*** your mum, f*** your dad, religion is best.
That's the other saying. The original phrase emphasises that chosen bonds, like friendships, are actually stronger than family ties.
Okay, right, so I'm right on all accounts. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Always.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll take that. Moving on.
Winning isn't everything.
Okay. Is that just a general motto for me to live by? Maybe you lose a race, you go, you know, winning isn't everything. It's the participation that counts. It's the competition. It's the fun you had along the way. It's the friends you made and the connections you endured.
It's too right. That's exactly it. However, the full version is actually, winning isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Oh, really?
Yep. So the shortened version basically seems to soften the intensity of what it was originally, which was about an obsession of victory at all costs.
So me coming away from my eldest child's first sports day last August. It'd be like, sorry, son, I'm an intellectual. I have to use the full saying, winning isn't everything. He's like, oh, thanks, Dad, that's really kind. Until I cut him off and say, it's the only option.
Yeah,
you're out the house. Get some fucking fight in you, pal. That's all the way you threw that beanbag. Half-assed.
Just wipe away those tears.
No dessert for you tonight.
I expected more.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be employing that full saying.
No, possibly not. How about curiosity killed the cat?
If you are curious about something that might get you in trouble, like, I don't know, maybe you see your neighbour walking out the house holding a suspiciously rolled up carpet in the middle of the night, and you're like, oh, I'm curious about this, so you start doing a little bit of nosying.
Just going off to the shed?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then you discover, the wife's gone. What? Right, so, and all of a sudden you find yourself embroiled in this whole act, and then you yourself end up in a rolled up carpet.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that's very vivid.
No, nothing personal. What are you talking about? My wife is fine.
I haven't seen her for a while. She's been quiet on the group chat.
I hated that carpet. That's why we got rid of it.
Oh, it's because you were originally moving house, wasn't it? That's why.
Precisely. We want to take it with us. We loved it so much. Yes, I know I've changed my story.
Why have you taken it to the skip, then?
Well, we found out we weren't moving. I just got angry, all right?
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough. The complete saying, however, is curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back.
Oh, right then. So that's how I get my wife back. Satisfaction.
We know that's not going to happen.
I just want to say my wife is alive and well.
Apparently. So the full version suggests that while curiosity may, of course, lead to danger, as you so eloquently put, Ian, it also brings rewards.
Okay, right.
So curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. Moving on.
Please.
Great minds think alike.
Yes, they do.
I don't think we need to explain that any further, but the longer version is great minds think alike, but fools seldom differ. Which is kind of like a bit of irony within that.
It's the exact same thing, isn't it?
I mean, so the shortened version praises the similarity in your thought with someone else's thought.
Yeah.
But the full version points out that fools often agree as much as great minds do.
Okay, so you could just say everyone agrees with everyone.
You could just say great minds think alike.
Okay, fair enough.
What about money is the root of all evil?
Yes, it is, Jordan. I completely agree.
What about the full quote that is, the love of money is the root of all evil?
Oh, okay. So it's not money itself, it's what people put into it.
Exactly. It's the obsession with money that is the problem, not the actual money itself.
I could not agree more.
I just think that's quite a good one, and I feel like that should be readopted.
Money is a dickhead.
No, the love of money is a dickhead.
Yeah, all right.
Don't need to shorten it already. God.
It's so easy to do. I've never realised before.
Penultimate one, starve a cold, feed a fever.
Okay, I've heard that before. I kind of just thought that was like, put an onion up your nose, it'll cure your sinuses or something like that.
Put an onion up your nose?
Yeah.
God, I hope it's a pickled onion.
No, full on, red onion, one of those farmers ones that's like as big as your head.
Oh, God.
One up each nostril.
Oh, God. That's a weird image. So, starve a cold, feed a fever kind of implies that if you have a cold, starve yourself. If you have a fever, eat.
Okay.
But the original phrase was, in fact, if you starve a cold, you'll have to feed a fever.
Oh.
So it's meaning that basically you neglect one illness, that can lead to having a worse one.
Okay, which you'll then have to do the opposite to.
Well, it just means that I think the shortened version is just more confusing. Like, almost it's like it's giving advice on how to treat a common illness, but actually that's not really the case at all.
I mean, I guess you could just always pull those onions out your nose and eat them.
You could. I mean, the beauty is that when you've got a cold, you can't taste anything.
Exactly, yes.
Final one. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yes, I have used this myself in this podcast when speaking about the person that used to do the renovations in this house.
Very true, actually, you did. And so, if anyone, I think that's quite a British phrase, so if anyone that isn't from England, how would you describe that as you know it currently?
A person that has a small amount of knowledge about most jobs. So, like, you know, your door's fallen off. Oh, yeah, I'll be able to fix that for you. Not properly.
Yeah.
I'll just be able to sort of jerry-rig it up and kind of attach it. So it'll work, but it won't be
It won't be pretty.
good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they can do that with just about every job. Like, oh, your electrics, you know, there's a little bit of an issue. I can fix it. You know, it won't be properly, but I can do something with it.
Yeah, exactly. But the original phrase is slightly longer, and that is Jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than master of one.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, so it's actually highlighting that the full phrase, at least, is the value of being versatile, whereas the shortened version kind of omits that positive aspect.
Yeah, so it's kind of saying it's a better thing than if my wife said to me, the electrics are on the fritz, and I'm like, sorry, jack of all trades, master of none. I can make you a pot. I'm good at clay. I can make you a vase. Like, well, that's not going to help, is it? You know, but if I was a jack of all trades, I could make her a vase and then fix the electrics.
Exactly, so kind of flipping that totally on its head, I would say.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to find a new name for the person that used to live here.
Just call him Sam.
I was thinking more on the lines of f***ing asshole or something like that.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
So let's brainstorm some names. What you got for me? Right, Sam, off the table. What else you got?
Simon.
Oh, f***ing hell, mate. This gets better. Right,
I'll go through the whole alphabet for you.
I'll counter Simon with ball bag.
Zion.
Zion. Whoa. Are they all just going to be variations of an Iain name? Nyman.
What about Nobber?
Nobber. Love it. That bloody Nobber that used to live here. Rolls off the tongue. Good job, Jordan.
It does, doesn't it? Thanks, you're welcome.
I tell you what, we'll mix the two together. We'll go for Knob on.
That sounds like you on an evening.
Got a knob on. Which means nothing, but it's such a British thing to say. Oh, I got a right knob on.
Oh, God. It's like briefcase.
It is.
Trying to describe that to anyone foreign probably seems ridiculous. And it is. But yes, there you have it, everybody. Who'd have thought that you could listen to a podcast that is increasingly hilarious and also informative?
I mean, if anyone got this far, then well done.
Yes, absolutely, because we are running long.
Yeah, I was struggling.
Had we better pack things up then, Ian?
I think we probably had, because my bum has never felt quite as numb as this.
I know, but you're on a throne.
I am on a throne. How hard it is to be the king.
Oh, of course. With your knob on.
If you're king, mate, you got to have a knob on.
You do.
Assert dominance. All that fun stuff. So thank you for tuning into today's episode of Two Guys What's Up. Don't forget to follow the show wherever you listen to us so you don't miss another episode, and maybe even tell a friend. Take your friend into the garden. Ask them to sit in your carpet while you roll it up for no particular reason at all. And while they do this, just to make the experience a little bit more comfortable, give them some AirPods. Stick on Two Guys What's Up for them.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, our Linktree link is in the bio of this episode, which you can click on and be jetted off to every link you will ever need for all your Two Guys What's Up essentials. Want to get your own Two Guys What's Up t-shirt? Click the link!
Want to meet Mr. X in the Buffy flesh? Click the link!
Want to find out the extended versions of more common sayings? Click the link!
And if you click that link, it will take you to Patreon, where you can find all of your Two Guys What's Up extra essentials, including pin badges, shout-outs, t-shirts, and if you really can't get enough of our fantastic tales and shadow people voices... Well, now you can get more, because we now release bonus episodes which come out on the last Friday of every single month. There is currently 15 sitting up there, all waiting for your ears to just gobble up that delicious extra audio goodness. And all that is available right now, starting with said bonus episodes, for just £3 English a month, or about $3.50.
Bergen. And if you want to help support the show and get some cool stuff while you do so, head over to patreon.com/Two Guys What's Up to check out all the goodies over there. The link will be down below for your pleasure.
But if you can't do that, because it goes on for ages, but you still like to help us out, then a 5-star rating and review in your podcast app of choice would be the best and freest and easiest way to do that for us, and we would just be like, so grateful.
We would.
But on that note, thanks for listening, y'all have an amazing week, and we will see you next Monday.
Bye. That was quite impressive.
Yeah, I know it.
Just 1 second. I'm going to have to just move the car again.
No worries.
I'll be 1 moment.
Okay. Wonderful. Hello and welcome to Two Guys What's Up ASMR. Today we have a deck of cards. Lovely. The worst ASMR in the world. Can you imagine, like, someone's like, okay, so now we're just going to do this little flourish, and then fucking bastard! You know, you drop the cards or something, you're like, fuck's sake, brand new deck of cards all over the fucking floor! Sorry about that little outburst. But now we're back to Two Guys What's Up ASMR. We're going to do a riffle shuffle here. Paper cut! My apologies for that. I hope you're not listening to this with headphones. I hope you're not listening to this with headphones on. Otherwise you'd be deaf right now. Anyway. Yeah. I hope your mic picked that up, John. Yeah, come on. Beautiful song. Jordan's wife.
They're just jealous.